The most important person in the whole wide world is you, and you hardly even know you. The most important person in the whole wide world is you. Come on, we'll show you. Let's find out more about the things you feel and do, 'cause you're the most important person in the world to you.
Hello, 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 and welcome to One for All is Love with Sonya Spirit. And I am Sonya Spirit. And I'm Sonya Spirit. And today is a beautiful Wednesday, August 5th, 2020. And it has been a most interesting year. Well, this episode is free talk, as we used to call it, or they probably still do, in the online teaching community. So yes, free talk. If anyone wants to talk, have something they want to share, an idea, a question, they are more than welcome to call in. Otherwise, I am just going to be inspired to discuss anything that passes through. But no, actually, there are some things that we need to discuss, or I would like to share. Excuse me, I just need to take a sip there. All right. Moisten the vocal cords. So this episode really is about discussing what's going on in the world, putting it in perspective, and let's start there. Perspective, perception, how you perceive. How you perceive. Okay, so I had a thought probably a couple of days ago, and it was about while we have the power to create, and we do, the majority of us, and I say that, of course, most ignorantly, because I'm just basing it on human population, but that's what I'm talking about, the human population, not all souls, but the majority of the human population are not proactive creators. We create by default because we have that power, and we create our own reality, and we don't understand, we don't know and or understand how we do that. You know, how is that possible? And it's very possible. And understanding, you know, whether you choose to try to understand or get close to God, if you choose to try to understand yourself better, heal from the inside out, be honest with yourself and actually work on it. And Spirit will help you work on it if that's what you want to do. Okay? So where I was going with this is we have the power to create. And like I said, we do by default, but we don't do it proactively because most of us don't even know how to go about even doing that, how to be the authority over our energy. And there's probably a good reason for that. There was. But that time, as you can see, is falling off, dissipating. I mean, life is changing. Okay? Life is really changing. And if you don't have a good grip on who you are on the inside, It may be a very uncomfortable ride or experience. Now, babies and fools, as my mother used to say, that God looks out for babies and fools. And of course, she would tell me this when I am not a baby. And of course, my response to her was, as long as I'm covered, I don't care which category I fall in. And that's the name of the game. Because, we worry or are so preoccupied or programmed to be concerned about what other people think. Even the most introverted person. And when I say introvert, listen, introvert and shy and insecurity, those are not the same things. Those are not the same things. You can be a highly confident person and an introvert, okay? So let's work on some of the definitions. But anyway, oh, shucks, I lost my train of thought because I started talking about introverts. But I know what I was talking about, that, that life is changing. And things are going to get exposed. Things are going to fall away. Life is going to change. It's, it's the whole process of regeneration. And that's what's interesting about, really wanting to understand who, if we can use such a term, and what God is to the best of our knowledge. Now, the beauty of that is that is an ongoing process, because God is unknowable. So from a soul perspective, you can always be in pursuit of knowledge, because God is unknowable, which means God is infinite. There is no ceiling. There is no border. There is no boundary. There is no restrictions when it comes to God. So my whole thing, where I was going with this earlier before I veered off, and that was okay because this is what this is all about, was that, okay, so life is changing, and we have to be mentally, emotionally, spiritually prepared. Be prepared. Nothing may happen to you. The world can come crashing down all around you. See, that's the beauty of God. Anything is possible. Look at how tornadoes work. Anything is possible. That's why in the Bible it says, as you believe. And you start with belief because that's being really, when you start exercising like new beliefs, not even exercising new beliefs, learning and growing, period. Expanding your consciousness. but in a healthy way, and in a loving way, and in a godly way. We all are capable of anything. That's the God in us. That's another quality of God. But see, God's frequency is so high. God doesn't, all this base activity, it doesn't resonate on that level. It doesn't, it can't exist on that level. So we are here in the quagmire, not even noticing we in it. So we have to do something about this. So things are going to change. Life is changing now. But not to be melodramatic. Hold on. Not to be melodramatic. But, I mean, I don't have to be melodramatic. Turn your TV on. And even then, it's not an honest assessment of everything that's transpiring in the world. But there is this pandemic. And it is certainly wreaking havoc on the great nation. But it's not just about the United States. When life changes, life changes. That's why the pandemic is global. And we have no idea what is going to transpire. Or at least I don't. So, all I'm saying is to be mentally prepared, emotionally prepared, but most of all, spiritually prepared. Okay? When I talk about, learning and growing and healing, all of this begins from within. Listen, there's a reason for all that. I suppose I was supposed to sound the alarm in my own way. So, be prepared. Like I said, nothing may even happen to you. And wouldn't that be a beautiful thing? But that won't be everyone's experience. And everything is unfolding harmoniously. That includes reconciliation. But more so, remember, like I said, God is not about punishing. So this is not, this is what's happening is a transformation. Take the emotion out of it. Hey, we got us a caller. Let's see what's on someone's mind. Uh-oh. Guess they changed their mind. Okay. Anywho, or maybe they didn't really want to talk. But I lost my train of thought, of course. Everything happens for a reason. But the point is to be ready. To be ready. You think about just how much life has changed just since the shutdown. There's a lot of small businesses that are going out of business, that have gone out of business. Things that once had, relevance like fashion. It just doesn't have the same sex appeal. I mean, of course, I miss dressing up and going out too. However, if that time has passed, that time has passed. You know, what's interesting and what might be troubling for many humans is the concept of ownership. Possessing something, which of course means controlling it. So, as things change, you have to let go. That was the point of ownership and why people have a problem with letting go. You know, I have posted on Facebook that it is meant for humans, to enjoy and experience, not to hoard, not to possess or hoard or own. So, yeah, we are meant to experience, enjoy and experience and enjoy whenever possible. If the experience isn't enjoyable, then maybe we are supposed to learn and grow from it. But there is some benefit from every experience. However, if you don't have that filter on, that perspective, then you will miss that potential opportunity. Remember, everything is possible. It is as you believe. That's what Henry Ford meant when he said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. Because you have the power through your thoughts, your words, your feelings, amplified by actions, of course amplified by words too, but to create anything you can imagine. You know, I had another thought over the week, like how to spin, or, you know, something. It's take a negative and turn it into something positive. And I was thinking about, you know, a little kid lying, Lying, Anyway, and I said that the positive of a little lying kid is he's actually creative. He or she are actually creative. You know, because lying is creative. You're making a story. It can be based on part reality and part creativity, part imagination. That's what a lie is. It's not the truth. So, however you spin it. So, my point is this: channel the energy into storytelling, whether, you know, they want to be a verbal storyteller, a comedian, an audio book narrator, a writer, or, you know, anything, but, you know, channel it into something beautiful. So that was another thought that I had. These are just random thoughts, okay? Just random thoughts, you know, that lying is actually has a positive application. And that's storytelling. So if you've ever found yourself being so bent on the truth, look, then you're being so rigid that you're not allowing your creative juices to flow. So you have to take all that into consideration. Yeah, I'm all over the place here, as you can see. But that's what Let's Chat is all about. Excuse me. I'm trying to not really get on to like any of the political stuff, because it doesn't really matter. It's the quagmire. Like I said, it's the quagmire. So that's why it's important to stay focused on, the hone in on your spirituality, because it's so easy to become polarized, to get drawn in, to become polarized and polarizing. And that's not community. We certainly need to be drawn together, but in more of a cooperative community sense. So, anywho. And right now we live in an environment that, of course, encourages competition. Of course, to the point where people lose sight of the art of creativity, or the process of creativity, and just become obsessed with the end goal of that looking good thing, being concerned about what other people think. Even on the most subconscious level, someone is always, you're not necessarily seeking, but there are people that you wouldn't want to disappoint. That's a better way of putting it. Okay. Not necessarily that you're seeking their approval, because it makes you sound like you're 5 years old and you don't want to do anything wrong. Of course, we've all evolved far past that, but disappointment. So we have to work on ourselves. We have to heal from within. And it's wonderful to keep people in our, on our prayer list or in our prayer circle. And it's good to keep, to do that daily, if not more often. Okay, intradaily. Yeah, to do it intradaily, make it an intradaily activity. But also, listen, don't forget yourself. Don't get so caught up in helping everyone else that you lose sight of healing yourself. And that's not just praying for yourself or, yes, affirming, absolutely, but also assessing yourself throughout the day, or whenever you get an opportunity. I find myself, like things I know that I could have handled better, I could improve on, or when I feel myself experience something, okay, you're becoming a little irritated, let's work on this, because some of the work that I do involves me talking to people for long periods of time, and not necessarily the most comfortable subject matters. So anyway, but so my point is this, sorry, got sidetracked again, but my point is this. So always be working on healing yourself as well. That should be like that department that they used to have in corporate America, continuous improvement. That's a real thing. You should always be working on becoming, your best version of yourself. How can you improve? We think about that when we work for a company. We think about that, in terms of how can we improve processes? How can we improve as a soul? How can we improve as a human? How can we be a better person? Now, when I talk about being a soul, of course, I'm talking more internally. How can you be a better soul so that you can express, so that your human can express it better? I know it sounds like I'm talking about different, but we all are different things collectively into one, and we happen to be a manifestation of it. So, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about, okay, so like when you think about God and you realize that, God is all about creating new, and change, it's about it creating. So, whoever gave us whoever said it, that energy is neither the law of energy. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It is merely transformed. Okay. And so that's it. So, and God is, remember, law number 3, everything vibrates. So God is always moving too. That's why they said change is the only constant. Now, I'm tell you, as a Gemini, that's music to my ears, honey. But I know that's not the way every sign feels. But as a Gemini, we are communicators, and it's all coming to me now. That's why I have this show. Change is coming, and it's my job to tell as many people who wants to listen. And not only that, but how we can help the situation by helping ourselves. Charity begins at home. Remember, it's beautiful to help, absolutely, because that comes back to you too. So whatever you give, you shall also receive. You shall also receive. But also don't forget to make sure you take care of your own vessel. Listen, you don't want to be out there. Well, I know I would. Well, yeah, I prefer a somewhat tidy house, somewhat. I'm not watching baseball every week, but anyway. But so I wouldn't want to go out and clean houses all day and then come home and my house is a mess. No. So listen, the thing is, what I'm saying is we have to clean our own house. Okay, we can help others, and we can help ourselves. We can help ourselves, and we can help others. When we help others, we do help ourselves. How about that? So it doesn't matter how you approach it, okay? But just remember that it's necessary to balance. Okay, so if you're more comfortable by starting by helping other people, and that makes you feel good, then that's fine. Use that whatever that energy is that makes you feel good. Use that to heal yourself, but you cannot forget about yourself because it is all about balance. Okay, and for humans, because we do vibrate on the lower frequency where duality exists, which is law number 4, because everything above 4, 1, 2, and 3, all applies to all energy. Okay, it's almost like it's the character. Well, all of this is a characteristic, but it's like I can't even use characteristics, but and my vocabulary is limited, and then we say ignorant things, trying to speak spiritually. And when I say that, it's like you put caps on things or restrictions or limitations by trying to define them sometimes. Because but that's it. That's what energy is, though. That's what, it's force and form. So, like, when trying to describe something, it's a container. I'm trying to contain this concept and express it in such a way that somebody can understand in the manner in which I want them to understand it. Isn't that interesting? And that's how we communicate. And we have to bear that in mind when we're speaking to people. When we talk to people, what we're saying to them may not be what they hear. So with that in mind, I'm just saying be patient and be understanding. Okay? Be loving towards one another. I do love the commercials or the public service announcements, whatever you want to call them, that talks about, that we're in this together. And I know there are people who poo-poo that, and I understand that, and there may be a motive behind that. But at the end of the day, the message is however you choose to take it and whatever you choose to make with it. So I'm a firm believer that we're all in this together. And the more people that get on board with the happy feeling, with the love train, then, the faster things will occur, manifest, unfold. Okay? Remember, we're holding ourselves back. That's individually as well as collectively. We get in our own way. We have these old programs. That's why computers. Every 3 years you got to get a new computer. The operating system has changed. Things take up more space. Your computer's outdated. This, that, and the third. And that is a reflection of life. To be quite honest, it's another example of life. Life, and what I was talking about earlier about change. Embrace change. So, I was saying earlier about how to approach whether your healing process. You can approach it by helping others and healing externally, and of course that will come back to you. But use that energy that comes back to you. Use it to heal yourself. Okay, use it to love yourself. Use it to cleanse your cosmic column or veins and capillaries. Okay, allow the cosmic electricity. Listen, that's all God. Allow it to flow through you. Open up yourself. Fear is another reason. Fear keeps us from opening ourselves up. We're so afraid of, and I'm not saying they don't exist, but we're we're afraid of everything. We're afraid to open up spiritually because we might be inviting dark spirits in. Listen, I'm connecting with God. I'm not opening up to dark spirits. Okay? So, anywho, we got us another caller. Let's see what's going on. Hello, caller. Welcome to Let's Chat with Sonya Spirit. How are you today? They have disappeared. I don't think this is the day for the callers. I don't think they want to talk to me. Okay, anywho. Well, let's continue. So yeah, we need to become prepared. We need to be prepared, not to become. But I say that, and I don't mean it in a I'm trying to scare you type of way. It's not about that. It's our responsibility to become prepared. That's what God is telling us. Listen, things are about to change, and if you're not in tune, you might not be comfortable. That's what I'm saying. But I'm not the one who tell you whether you're in tune or not. That's not for me to judge. Okay, that's not my area of expertise. You'll know because you'll have the experience. And if you are uncomfortable, then you might want to start working on healing yourself. And I don't say that lightly. Because it's really not a light subject. Nor, it can get treated like anything else. Some folks can kick the habit cold turkey. Others need an intervention, a rehabilitation, therapy, counseling, cheerleading, hand-holding. But listen, it doesn't matter. What I'm trying to say is discover what path you need to take and get on it. That's what I'm talking about. Get on it, doggone it. Because life is changing. Life is changing. Life is beautiful, though. Life is beautiful. Life is changing, though. And as I've said so many times before, now, originally I was going to call this show Error and Omissions. And the reason why, because another thought that I had was about death. I've said in several episodes before that death was an experience for the living. And I still stand by that. However, I said, well, the dead don't care because they already gone. However, a thought came to mind. I didn't think it all the way through because when we talk about programming, we talk about DNA. Okay, that's how trauma gets transferred, through DNA. Because you are your past and your future. There are soul clusters. We are all, anyway. But my whole point is this. Oops. Everything begins within. Have no fear. Change is the only constant. I know these sound like a lot of cliches. Oh, I know where I was going with this. Errors and omissions and death. Okay, that's why I was on the subject of death. And death is an experience for the living. However, the dying soul or dying body, that soul, if the event is traumatic, it can be carried. Because I don't know definitively, but it can be carried or stored. Well, I'm sure it is stored. Whether or not it gets expressed is another story. Because if it's traumatic, chances are it will get stored. Because that's how you have past life regressions. You think about, and that's where, when I started really thinking about it, during my moments of ruminations, it's like that's how you get past life regressions. People in this lifetime don't understand their aversion to water or bodies of water, not taking a bath, but anyway, water or heights, or speeds or closed spaces, or whatever it is. And generally it's because if it's nothing that they can tie it to in this current manifestation, then it is generally associated with a prior manifestation through your DNA. And your DNA, of course, it stores. That's storage. So you can access that stuff, which is why people go into, pay for past life regression, hypnotherapy, who pay, who go through that, because they do want to know, what their prior experiences were, whether or not they choose to disclose what they're actually seeking. It just depends. Anyway, so yeah, that was one of my errors and omissions. So I think I'm going to start jotting those down. It's like you didn't think that one all the way through. But it was, that's the Gemini in me. And that's what we get charged with, is being superficial, because we have this great idea and we run with it, and sometimes we just don't dig a little deeper. Or maybe it's just me. I don't want to put it on all Geminis. I know folks is like, stop projecting. Okay. So, but I do, a takeaway from the show is I definitely want people to understand that God does not punish. Life is changing, and in my opinion, it's for the better. No matter, in my opinion, it's for the better. No matter how uncomfortable the experience might be. Okay? Because every experience serves a purpose. So, and remember, that's why, listen, and I'm going to tell you, this is what's really important. One of the reasons why you want to always be in learn and grow mode and always assessing and refining yourself is for a few reasons. But one of them is for, you want to, when you come back in your next incarnation, listen, you do not want to be right where you are now. You know what I'm saying? You want to be, don't you want to help yourself out, your future self? I just talked about that you're both the past and the future. So with that in mind, we are futures past right now, okay? And what are we doing to help ourselves? What am I doing to help myself? And what are we doing collectively to help ourselves? Okay? Now, the best way I can help the collective is by helping myself, okay? Is by healing myself. Because what happens is I'm contributing that positive energy, that beautiful energy, that godly energy, that creative energy, that encouraging and supportive energy. That's what I'm contributing to the collective conscious when I focus on healing myself, on refining myself. We look at change as such a oftentimes just you know somebody's asking me to do so with so much resistance to it, and it's all manufactured. It's all man-made. Okay, self-made. So we get in our own way, and I just got lost in thought and feelings. But anyway, but we get in our own way. So what I was saying, that the best way we can begin healing the collective conscious is by healing ourselves. Now, that's certainly my approach as an introvert, and I recommend it to everyone. However, that may not be everyone's initial approach. If you're an extrovert, which is why I was saying before, if you feel more comfortable doing, self-serving or helping others, okay, then so be it, because that energy comes back to you as well, okay? But remember, as I said earlier, it's all about balance. You got to use that energy to help heal yourself. And that's all about, like I said, keep refining yourself. Work at it. You want to work at it. Especially when you start thinking about God and spirituality and just being a spirit, you realize, okay, we're all expressions of God, individual, unique expressions of God. And we have the ability, the power to express anything. That's what being a co-creator, but to express the best of ourselves. So, yes, we are co-creators, but just from the beginning, because I'll start from step 0 and jump up to 100 quick. But, just to start with ourselves, we have the power to create anything, to heal anything, to be anything, because we have God's creative power. So there is no limit, only the limitation of our mind. And we are the ones who limit our mind, us personally and any other energies that we allow to influence or affect us. And listen, as long as you're ignorant about yourself, you are being manipulated. And when I say that, that includes me too. And I know a smidgen, but I know I got a long way to go. I know I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there, because that's where I want to be. That's where I want to be. I want to be a proactive creator. I don't want to create based on old programs. And that's what's going on in this world. The world that we see is a bunch of old programs. The Matrix was on the other day, and it's so interesting to watch. I don't ever watch the whole thing, but whenever it comes on, and we intersect, I do pay attention to whatever scene that I happen to be, drawn to or present for, witnessing, whatever you want to call it. Because just so much resonates with it. But anyway, so yeah, if we have the power, we are nowhere close to doing anything that we're capable of. And that's because we're not ready, okay? That's because we're not ready. Our frequency has to raise. That's emotions. That's energy. That's why it's all about the balance. If we are weighed too heavily towards one side, then we get what we get, but it is still an unbalance. We get that unbalanced reality. So we do have to work on a balance. So be honest with yourself. What are some things you need to work on? That's what I am. I'm quite honest about it. But remember, knowing is only half the battle. The other half is application. So you might know about it, but people who smoke cigarettes know they're bad for them, but that don't stop them from doing it, from smoking them. Knowing is only half the battle. That's what I'm saying. They know it, but until they apply that knowledge and quit smoking, so they can start reversing or correcting their health. I'm not judging. I was just using an example. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I apologize, but I was just using an example. I'm sure I offended a whole bunch of smokers out there, but you get my point, though. Okay. All right. Just had to check on time. Actually, this less chatting ain't too bad. At first, I was a little concerned, but the universe said, "Relax, we got you," and I have been quite productive. Don't use the word busy because you don't want to be busy. You want to be productive. You want to be creative. You want to become more engaged, involved in the energy that's around you. Feel it. Okay. So at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, life is beautiful. And I do balance it with a dose of current manifestations. That's what I like to call them. Because it does help understand what's going on in the world too. It's not all doom and gloom. It's change. It's change. And things will continue to change. And they will probably continue to change even more dramatically and drastically. And that's what I'm talking about, being mindful of, being prepared for. Not to be afraid or in fear, but if once, when you are in tune, you respond to things differently. And that's what you want to work on. At least that's what I'm practicing working on. And I am loving it. Because the beauty of it is you can gauge your own growth if you're honest with yourself. And you have to be honest with yourself because enough people will tell you, and you have enough experiences to know. Life has given you enough experiences. No, you know what? You need to work on that. You still doing this? You still behave this way? You're not doing very well in the grow and change department or the learn and grow department. So, yeah, I'm honest with myself. So, which means I know I got a lot of work to do. I still have a long way to go. But even though I've probably come an inch compared to how far I have to go, I'm enjoying this inch because to me this inch of progress is beautiful. So not even take what you can, enjoy, just like I said before. To be a soul, to have this experience of manifestation is to enjoy and experience, also to learn and grow. But, learning and growing doesn't have to be trauma and tragedy. Like I said, if you focus on your different experiences and how you are engaged in those experiences, like I said, for myself, I know, hey, I'm getting irritated. Hey, tone it down. Be patient. Be understanding. Relax. And it's not really a woo-saw moment. It's more me kind of coaching myself. Because it's not that I'm in, it's like, hey, you see you see what's happening to Sonya, okay, let's reel her in. It's more like that, It's almost like you coaching somebody else. At least that's the way it is for me. So, and then, I noticed, okay, listen, I can do better than this. And that's what it is. And you do better. And you keep doing better. Even if it's just, like I said, incrementally, it's still moving in the right direction. Hey, the tortoise and the hare. Listen, consistent progress. Who won? The tortoise. And I compare me and my sweetie to the tortoise and the hare all the time. And I was like, I don't understand why you get upset when I compare us to the tortoise and the hare, because you're the tortoise and the tortoise wins. But I don't think he sees it that way. Maybe he thinks I'm going somewhere else with it. But anyway, but it always makes my point. Listen, just because, being fast or being first doesn't necessarily mean being best. I had a conversation with someone that I love dearly not too long ago. More isn't better. You can have more problems. Does that make it a better situation? No. So more isn't necessarily better. So don't wish for more. Just always wish for better. And you don't have to worry about more, because more rhymes with hoarding. So, yeah. That's how, these are how things you can do to always be working on yourself, trying to refine yourself. Are you going to be doing it 24/7 always? No. But, it'll start out small, and you'll find that you spend a lot of time thinking about, what you're doing. And can you do it better? And it doesn't necessarily mean that you will do it better. Remember, I told you, knowledge is only half the battle. You got to get that You got to get that initiative. And intuition is good with that, because you got to act. You got to do something with intuition. The inspiration, it just flows out you, through you, and out of you. You're more like a conduit, a channel. That's a beautiful feeling. I feel that way with poetry, when writing poetry. I have to be inspired. Anyway, okay, so be prepared, or always be prepared, being prepared. Always work on refining yourself, being better. Remember, more is not better. More is more, so focus on being better. Also remember, if you choose the two avenues, you can choose by starting to heal yourself from the inside out, and you will learn this sense of community, because that's what it's all about, and the collective conscious, and contributing to that. And of course, you will be the best person that you can be. You will always want to be the best person that you can be, because it that's the way you feel about it. But if you're more of a, like to help people, or an extrovert, or, like to be out there, that's fine too, because what you do unto others is done unto you. So that energy returns, negatively speaking, we call it karma oftentimes, but karma is just your energy returning. So good energy returns too. You just don't call it karma. We call it luck, whatever that is. But anyway. So, yeah, I mean, these are simple things that you can do, that you can start doing now, that doesn't take you. You don't have to go anywhere. You can just, grow where you are planted. Grow where you are planted. Charity begins at home. That starts with yourself, your family, your community. And when I say family, that includes friends. Whoever you include in your family circle, your community, and then the collective conscious. I know people like to get into country, but the globe is getting small, ladies and gentlemen. There are no, real lines of separation. We got to learn to let go of possessing and hoarding. That's what more is. Like I said, more rhymes with hoarding. Anyway, that's what it's meant by let go and let God. Because God is all about flow, harmony, energy expanding, emanating, creating. That's why there's over 7 billion people on the planet. And there's an infinite universe, or galaxy, or cosmos, or whatever the biggest thing can be. Universe. Let's stick with universe. One song. Yeah. I mean, listen, we impose restrictions on ourselves, so we can polish ourselves too. We can break our own chains. We can use others' resistance to polish ourselves. Okay? So don't give your power away. And once you start knowing yourself, you will be more cognizant of your power, and much more conscious about being balanced. And you'll know, and you can easily tell the difference between being, as some people would say, a sucker, and compassionate and understanding and loving and peaceful, and because that's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. That's the direction that we're going in. It's the age of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius. Okay, live entertainment too. You can't beat that. All right, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to the show, whether it's live or the broadcast. I appreciate you. I'm not sure what next week's show will be about. I will be moved or inspired to come up with something. I will try to work on coming up with something over the weekend, though, because I will. Sunday is probably about the only day I'll have available, so I'll have an opportunity to bask in thought and float out into outer space through my mind. Okay. All right. Have a great rest of the week. Please stay safe. Think beautiful, healthy, loving thoughts. Be kind to one another. Be compassionate, patient, and understanding. I love you. Happy Hump Day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Oh, and happy August. Goodbye.